I got the third stimulus check bill draft. Finally, hot off the presses. Your first look at the third stimulus check draft, direct from Los Angeles. This is LALATE. I'm so excited for you. It's easy breezy. No, it's heavy and thick. A lot of pages. We finally have the Joe Biden third stimulus check bill draft here. It's about 14 pages. I've not even read it. I don't even know if it gives me a hug and kiss, but it's actually a third stimulus check bill. It's the America Rescue Plan, and it maybe has $12 ice cream in it, but I don't know. I'll be going over with you live on camera, live direct from Los Angeles. This is home LA. I'm so excited for you. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe because this is the best darn channel out there. No one has gotten you this until now. I'm the first channel to deliver you the hot off the presses bill items right here, right now. This is your first look at the third stimulus check bill for worldwide. This is not the actual bill words, but it is the bill draft. It's 16 pages long, 20 pages long. It's not law yet. But it's a bill now. So here we go, as Bradley said. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that alert button on the front of this channel so you get alert when I next go live like this. I told you there may be rush broadcasts. And consider becoming a member, as Cindy did. Cindy is killing the new emojis. There's new emojis if you're a member of this channel. There's a donut emoji that's new, a new sirloin emoji, and a new ice cream emoji. So, boy, crush the emojis if you're not a member. If you've not become a member, consider joining by clicking the join link at the top of this chat. Become either Calcino VIP, a Purple Power member, or a Purple Hawk. This is LALATE, and this is midday recording of home LALATE, coming to you a little bit earlier, and there may still be another show after this. There's 300 people in the room, but I'll have an update at the 15-minute mark and then at the 30-minute mark, and let's see how big we grow, because I expect there's going to be a lot. All right, the COVID pandemic and the corresponding economic crisis are devastating families across the country. 20 million people have contracted COVID and 370,000 have died. A new Los Angeles report this morning says 1 in 3 people in Los Angeles now have COVID. Today, President-elect Biden announces the America Rescue Plan to change the course of the pandemic, bridge a path towards economic recovery. It first starts with an overview, and then it goes into detail. So let me go over the overview first, and then I'll go into the detail. The overview says mount a national vaccination program contain COVID-19 and safely reopen schools. This includes by setting up community vaccination sites nationwide, scaling up testing and tracing. Then the second item, deliver immediate relief to working families bearing the brunt of this crisis by sending $1,400 per person checks to households across America, providing direct housing and nutrition assistance, expanding access to safe and reliable childcare and affordable health care, increasing the minimum wage, extending unemployment insurance, and giving families with kids and child's workers emergency boosts this year. A lot of detail in just one sentence. That's a lot of great detail. I'm reading the overview if you're just joining me. Support communities that are struggling in the wake of COVID-19, but providing support for the hardest hit small businesses. This is small businesses, especially small business owned entrepreneurs of color, protecting their jobs of first responders, transit workers, and other essential workers we depend on. That's hazard pay. That is grants. The $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan is ambitious but achievable and will rescue the American economy and start beating the virus. And it will start with a lot of details. It starts with talking about mounting a vaccination program. I'm going to skip that section because that, of course, is not stimulus. And that continues for about 5 pages of the report. Then it goes to spending money on reopening schools. So the bill then continues with reopening schools, talks about $130 billion for reopening schools. Provide $130 billion to help schools safely reopen. Schools need flexible resources to safely reopen and operate and facilitate remote learning. The plan will provide $130 billion to support schools in safely reopening. And reduce class sizes, modify spaces so teachers can socially distance, improve ventilation, hire more janitors, and implement mitigation measures, provide personal protection equipment. Every school would have a nurse, increase transportation capabilities, and continue. Then there would be $35 billion dedicated to public institutions for higher learning. Would include historically black colleges and universities, also minority institutions. Provide students, oh, this is a new one. Okay. I guess what should we do when we hear something new? I guess ice cream. Maybe the ice cream emoji. When we hear something new that we didn't hear before, here's something new. Ice cream emoji. Provide millions of students an additional $1,700 in financial assistance from their college. Ice cream. That's new. That's new. There we go. Additional $1,700 for college students for financial aid. This is why you gotta tune into me. I never heard of this. This is breaking new development right today. Provide $5 million to funds for governors to support educational programs, learning for students impacted by COVID-19. All right, so now wow. So this section coming up is totally new. Yeah, I'm only 7 pages into this, and I'm already seeing this is really not the press conference. So I thought that the press conference may have just been a few things. This is already starting to become a lot more stuff. So this is getting exciting. I'm really excited for you. This is why you guys stay with me. Okay, here we go. More ice cream. Provide emergency paid relief leave to 106 more million Americans to reduce the spread of the virus. No American should choose to have to become putting food on the table in quarantine. And yet, 1 in American 4 workers are not getting paid sick leave. Lack of paid sick leave is threatening the financial situation. So, what he wants to do is increase paid sick leave. He'll put the requirement back in place and eliminate exemptions for employers with more than 500 workers and less than 550 employees. Ice cream. So, more paid sick leave if you get COVID. Expand paid sick leave and family medical sick leave. Will provide 14 weeks of paid sick leave and family and medical leave to help parents with additional caregiving responsibilities. When a child or loved one's school or care center is closed for people who don't have caring for people with COVID-19 symptoms or quarantine during exposure. Ice cream, that's really good. So if you're just joining me, you're going to miss a lot. I see where this video is going to start to go. This video is now starting to turn out really great news. We're seeing a lot of ice cream in this video, which we did not hear yesterday. So unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to recap all these items because I won't be able to remember all of them. But so far, that's a new item. Paid sick leave if you have COVID or the school is closed or the kid has COVID. Expand emergency paid leave to include federal workers. So you'll get that'll cover about 2 million workers who work for the federal government. Then provide a maximum paid leave benefit of $1,400 per week for eligible workers. Provide a full range wage replacement to workers earning up to $17,000, more than 3/4 of all workers. Wow. So that's incredible. Big ice cream on that one. So he will provide sick leave of $1,400 a week for people who make up to $73,000 a year. Full wage replacement up to $73,000 annually. So let me break that down a little bit slower. That's big ice cream. So if you get, again, we don't know how you apply for all these things yet, but if you get sick and you need paid sick leave, he will pay full wage replacement up to $73,000 a year, which is approximately $1,400 a week. That's incredible. Reimburse employers with less than 500 employees for the cost of leave. Reimburse state and local for the cost of leave. Extend emergency paid measures until September 30th. Wow, that's a big ice cream. 1,000 people in the room. We're 8 minutes in. I hope you're joining me. What you're joining me on is the Joe Biden bill. I have now gotten an advanced copy of it. There's a reason why you subscribe to this channel, because I'm the first. There's no one on YouTube that's doing this. I have the first advanced copy of the bill. This is not the bill to be introduced because it's clearly not in bill format, but it is voluminous. It's 20 pages long, and we're only 4 or 5 pages into it. We're on page 8, and it already gives you an enormous amount of things that were not covered in the press conference. So the great news is the press conference was just sort of fluff and bells and whistles. This is the detail, and the detail is delicious. We have already seen paid sick leave up to $1,400 a person. We've also seen students in college will get $1,200 a week, $1,200 in financial aid. We also see that there was big money for another group, whose name I can't remember. All right, let's go to the next one. Direct immediate relief to families suffering the blunt of the pandemic. So here we get to the stimulus check. President-elect Biden's plan will give working families $1,400 per person a check to help pay their bills, bringing their total relief payment for this in December to $2,000. It's calling on Congress to increase the direct assistance to $2,000. It'll expand eligibility. Okay, so this is what you're wondering. It'll expand eligibility to include adult dependents who have been left out of previous rounds of relief and all mixed households. So one, adult dependents would get the $2,000, up to $2,000, and would include mixed family households. Also ensure that Treasury has the flexibility to deliver more stimulus checks than need them most, excluding millions of families that haven't received the $1,200 check on the under the CARES Act. So that's the Cash Act. So what he just said there is that he's giving you Cash Act. He's giving you up to $2,000 as a stimulus check, $1,400 additional on top of your existing $600 stimulus check. If you didn't get it, then you're going to get the full $2,000. Includes adult dependents and has that retro check back to January, $1,200. If you're just joining me and you've not just joined the broadcast and you've not subscribed, please subscribe, hit that alert button, and also consider becoming a member by clicking the join button. If you're dropping questions about what about this, what about that, stay with me because I'm at page 8 of a 20-page bill. So let's see what happens. Give me some time. And if you're just joining me, there's 1,400 people in the room. I've not read this. So this is I'm reading this as a cold read on camera. I've not read this. So you're seeing my reaction as I read it. All right. So then we get to FPUC. Extend and expand unemployment insurance for Americans so they can pay their bills. So President-elect Biden is calling on Congress to extend these and other programs. And he believes Congress should provide $400 a week unemployment insurance to supplement the hardest workers. The president-elect is committed to providing these emergency supports to families as long as the COVID crisis continues and unemployment opportunities remain limited. He's proposing to extend these emergency unemployment insurance programs through September 2021 and will work on ways Congress can automatically adjust the length and the amount of relief depending on the health and economic conditions, so future legislation doesn't doesn't undermine the recovery. That's really interesting. So that's $400 a week FPUC going forward, but he also says he's going to have a provision in there that they can just sort of extend things or modify numbers without doing a full bill. I love that. That's smart thinking. I love that. So now he has more detail in it. Extend financial assistance for workers who have exhausted their regular unemployment. That's PEUC. Then extend unemployments for people who don't normally qualify for unemployment. That's PUA. Then fully fund states' short-term compensation programs and additional weeks of benefits. Short-term compensation is known as work sharing. So that's really good news. So let me explain what I hear here. I saw in one of the comments, like Eric just wrote a comment, and I know what you're about to say. Is there retro? Is there not retro? When does it go? When does it expand? The good news is it's not very specific yet. It's not very specific yet. It's basically saying he wants $400 a week as his number, but he's asking for Congress to figure out how to do this. So this is really good news. He's not saying, no, I'm just doing $400 going forward for 5 weeks or 6 weeks. It actually doesn't state with specificity the date or the framework, and he wants Congress to figure it out. So I really, there's a little bit more optimism. The door on retro FPUC is not closed. Thank goodness. The door on FPUC retro is not closed because he actually says, I'm not closing the door. Thank you to Zgolf 3518 for becoming a Purple Hawk. This is insanely great news. So we actually have language that says he's not making a definitive determination about when to do this $400. He's not stuck on the number $400 also. This is really incredible news. If you're just joining me, there's 1,600 people in the room. Now at the 15-minute mark, let me give you an update where we are. Boy, it is. I'm really excited for you, and you should be excited as well, because this is your first look at the Biden third stimulus package. It's in my hand. No one else has delivered this breaking news to you except this channel. There's a reason why this channel is approaching 100 million viewers in 9 months. Let's do it, folks. We're at 89, 90 million views so far in 8 months, 8 months in about a week. We're trying to reach 100 million views in 9 months. We have a few more weeks. Let's do it. Go to the French channel, subscribe. Hit the alert button, that bell, so you can alert when I next go live, and like this video. And also consider becoming a member by clicking the join link. What you're seeing here is for the first time is the Joe Biden bill draft. And the great news is that, in the word of an emoji, there's a lot of ice cream in here. There's 1,000 things in here. Well, not 1,000 things, but there's a lot of things in here that were not mentioned last night. So give it time. This is really exciting news. We now know that last night's press conference was just sort of overview. This is detail, and there's a lot of stuff in here. You're seeing me go through it for the first time live on camera, so I can't even recall what I said even at the 5-minute mark, because I'm 10 pages in. There's a lot of ice cream. I remember those $1,200 for kids in college. There was $1,400 if you're sick and you have to stay home because of COVID. $1,400 a week. Oh my goodness. And then now we're at the FPUC, and the FPUC is basically saying, I'll do $400, but I'm not going to tell you what frame. I want to figure this out. We're not certain where we're going to land this yet. And the stimulus check is the Cash Act. It gives the adult dependents a stimulus check. Really exciting, great news. So let's continue. Keep struggling households a roof over their heads. Okay, this is rent. So what is he going to do? President-elect is calling on Congress to take immediate action to forestall coming wave of COVID evictions and foreclosures. 1, ensure that families won't face eviction and foreclosures. So the president is calling on Congress to extend the eviction and foreclosure moratoriums and continue applications for forbearance on federal guaranteed mortgages until September 30th. So that's sort of not as exciting as I would have liked. The mortgage forbearance is for federal-backed mortgages, not private-backed mortgages. And the eviction moratorium looks like he's still doing the CDC one. I would have hoped he was going to do a different one, but, you know, it still works. I mean, it is a functional one, so that's good. All right, then we're going to rent, free rent. Help renters and small landlords make ends meet by providing $30 billion. That's a good number. I love that. In rental and critical care. So what is he going to do? He is going to provide rent assistance for low and moderate income households. Oh, wow, this is great news. Ice cream emoji. He's doing rent assistance for people who are middle class, not just low income. So if you're having problems with making rent, then he's including it for middle class. This is big ice cream. Middle income households, and whether or not you have a job or lost your job. So you can get the rent even if you got the job. Big ice cream emoji. If you don't know what I'm referring to with ice cream emoji, I launched some more emojis overnight. Sirloin, ice cream emoji, and also, I don't know, so something else. You click, there it is, donut. I love you, Ella. Thank you. I love you back, Sandy. So this includes more money for also rent. It also will ensure that landlords get their rent. Oh my God, this is getting really delicious. Give me more ice cream in here, Joe. All right, so deliver $5 million in emergency assistance to help people in facing homeless. So it'll provide money to end homelessness, allowed non-congregate housing options. So if you're homeless, there's money in here to help as well. SNAP is next. SNAP, my goodness. What I missed, if you're just joining me at the 9-minute mark, you missed the first ever live recording online on YouTube of the third stimulus package of Joe Biden. I have on front of me the draft of the actual bill. It's 20 pages long. The first time you're hearing it online, there's 1,900 people live. I rushed into the studio. I haven't eaten. I haven't, I haven't had my $12 ice cream. I don't eat $12 ice cream. But I haven't had my donut. I don't eat donuts. Well, actually, I do eat donuts. But I was so excited. I had to go live on camera. You're hearing me go through this 30-page bill. I'm only at page 11. And there's a lot of deliciousness so far. So let's see what else is coming up. SNAP. Extend the 15% SNAP increase to September 2021. I love it. So SNAP will be increased to September 2021. As you know, under the second stimulus package, it's January to June, 6 months. If you didn't get the January, it could be coming. I cover the SNAP every day. This is SNAP Central. This SNAP Central. SNAP is benefits for food. I had one viewer, Larry, said, I never heard about SNAP until you told me about it. Thank you. God bless. SNAP, you can get if you make under about $49,000 a year. A lot of people qualify for SNAP. Reach out for Department of Agriculture and DOA, and they can get you on SNAP. All right, so extend it for 15%. Then invest $3 billion to help women and family get food they need in the special supplemental nutrition programs for women, infants, and children. Wow. So that's really exciting. Then partner with restaurants to feed American families. The FEMA Empowering Essential Deliveries Act will leverage the resources of restaurants to get money to food to people. So it sounds like that's new. I don't. It's the phrasing sounds like it's new. The FEED Act would provide additional money to restaurants, so restaurants could make money to feed you. So you can get a restaurant. They're doing this in LA County, but this would be a national program. Support SNAP by temporarily cutting the state's match. Provide U.S. territories with $1 billion additional assistance. Boasting SNAP will provide food for people in Puerto Rico, American Samoa, Commonwealth of North Mariana, put food on their table. I have a lot of viewers that tune in from Puerto Rico, so there you go. Hello, everyone. Really exciting news. Expand the minimum wage. We know about that. Okay, here comes hazard pay. So here's hazard pay. Here's hazard pay. This is hazard pay. And you remember hazard pay in when I was outside, that I went over it last year every day at the second video, and you would ask me who's essential, who's not essential. I'd read from the bill. The bill would be like 30 pages long just on hazard pay. Here's hazard pay. It's 4 sentences. So this is a very, very early draft on hazard pay. So let me just tell you what it says for hazard pay. It has absolutely no numbers in it. So essential workers have risked their lives. They keep on running the country. A large number of employers, especially in the retail, oh, that's good. That's an ice cream. Retail for essential work for hazard pay. And grocery sectors have seen bumper profitabilities in 2020. So the president-elect believes that employers have a duty to do right by their frontline essential workers and acknowledge their sacrifices. He and the president-elect will call on CEOs to take action to meet their obligations. Ooh. So that's really not. I don't. Is that ice cream? Is that half of ice cream? The way it sounds is that he sounds like he's going to order employers to pay you hazard pay. That the federal government won't pay for hazard pay. He'll order the employers to pay you hazard pay. Now, this is not a novel concept. They're doing that here in LA County. In LA County, they have ordered the grocery stores to pay hazard pay. They can do it. They can just say, hey, you have to pay an additional $3 a week, $3 an hour to your workers in your grocery stores. They're doing it here in LA County. So it looks like he's paying for hazard pay he's doing hazard pay by not having the federal government pay for it, ordering the employers to pay for hazard pay. But he's not explaining how. So this is very interesting. This would also sort of narrow the eligibility universe. So it may not, he may not order everyone, but really interesting. Expand childcare. We face an acute crisis in the American country. So he wants to expand childcare. Here we go. The Emergency Stabilization Fund will help hard-hit child care by providing those in danger of closing, providing support for nearly half of child care. So $25 billion in child care, home care, child care safety. Then expand child care assistance to help millions of families and help parents get back to work. Oh, so here we see it. While December's down payment provided $10 billion in funding through the Child Care and Development Block Grant, he will expand another $15 billion to expand that program. So that's the child care that we heard of the second stimulus. Increased tax credit for people who have the cost of childcare. Families will get a tax credit for half their spending on childcare under 13. Wow. So if you have a child under 13, half of your expenses will be taxed, will be deductible, up to $4,000 per child, or $8,000 for more than two children. So if you have children, you're up to age 13, they'll be taxable. It'll be a tax credit refundable, meaning that you can get a tax refund. The full 50% will be reimbursable for families making less than $125,000 a year. This is big ice cream. This is big ice cream. So if you have kids, you can write off childcare and get an enormous refund. This is really incredible, great news. Bolster family security for families and essential workers. Oh, what is this one? A child tax credit should be made refundable. Currently, so you can get the president-elect is calling to increase the tax credit of $3,000 per year and $3,600 for children under 6, and make 17-year-olds qualify for the tax credit. So you can have an enormous tax credit for your child on your tax return. $3,000, $3,600. This is big ice cream. Big, big, big ice cream. Expand child care, expand health coverage. Expand behavioral health services. Will increase mental and health services by $4 billion. Ensure adequate funding for veterans' health. Veterans, here we go. COVID has put enormous strain on the veterans. He's ensuring that Americans deliver on their promise. So he's asking for $20 billion for veterans' health services. Wow. Big ice cream on that one. Increase gender-based violence. And then come grants. Okay, so here come grants. And then here comes hazard pay. Hazard pay is coming again later in this bill. And then comes technology. Wow. So before I continue now at the 27-minute mark, let me explain where we are right here. If you're just joining me, there's about 2,400 people in the room. This is really exciting. What I'm going over is your first look of the Joe Biden third stimulus package. It's really exciting, great news. And what's great news is that we see that Joe Biden's press conference last night was just overview. I've gone through the bill. I'm almost halfway done, and nearly, I would say 20 items are in this that he did not mention last night. There's a lot of stuff he just did not mention last night. There's a lot of big ice cream, a lot of delicious stimulus in here that we did not mention. I see a lot of questions on the screen about SSI and SSDI. I see a lot of questions on the screen about SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. Let me answer that right now. First, understand that you would get a stimulus check. So you do qualify under all universes for a $2,000 stimulus check under the current bill, and a retroactive $1,200 stimulus check back to the first stimulus package if you were an adult dependent and didn't get one. So if you're an adult dependent SSI, SSDI, you would get $1,200 plus $2,000. If you are not a dependent but on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, you would get $2,000, up to $2,000. But I'm not finished yet. What I want to go over with you is that there's a lot of talk. There is a lot of talk that Joe Biden is doing multiple bills. Multiple bills. The reason why you're not hearing about the student loan forgiveness of $10,000 is there's reports that will be a separate bill. There are reports that, well, who was the first person, answer if you know on the screen, who was the first person who told you SSI and SSDI was not going to be in this? Who was the first person, if you know on the screen, who told you SSI and SSDI was not going to be in this? If you remember what the answer is. No one remembers the answer. Yeah, I did. I did. I told you it was a standalone bill. I told you it was a standalone bill. I told you SSI and SSDI was not going to be in here because fixing Social Security and benefits is a massive bill. It doesn't all. It involves the $2,400. It involves the 20% increase. It involves the new benchmark. But they also have to fix the program, and that's a whole bill. And I said it was going to be a separate bill. I told you all along it was going to be a separate bill. So do not think you're not getting the $2,400 because it's not in here, because I had always said it was going to be a separate bill. We now know that the student loan debt forgiveness is also a separate bill. Joe Biden has always said he's going to do a lot of bills. I mean, he's a former senator, so he likes writing bills. That's sort of what they do. But that's why it's not in here, is because the $2,400 is the stimulus part of what we talk about with SSI. But everything else with SSI, the 20% increase, the new benchmark, that's not stimulus. That's just problems with the program that need to be fixed. And that's why standalone bill. That's why not here. This is something else. So when are the other bills going to be introduced? Let's see, this is the 20th. It could presumably around the first week of February is what they're talking about with that student loan forgiveness, or last week of January. So it could be, within a week or two after this thing. Next one is the businesses. Here come the businesses. So let me go to the business grants. Oh, and hazard pay. Hazard pay, actually. Hazard pay is coming up. I did cover hazard pay early in this video, and I told you it was only 4 sentences long, had no detail. Hazard pay and business is coming up. All right, so provide businesses with 2,600 people in the room. Tell people to come on in here if they're not in here, because boy, this is a lot of stuff. This is a lot of stuff. If you're just joining me, wow, at the 30-minute mark, let me give you an update. We're at the 30-minute mark. Good afternoon, and this is LALATE live from Los Angeles in a rushed recording. What you're hearing right now is a first ever worldwide, no one else on YouTube yet has asked this, the actual third stimulus package bill draft. I'm going through the provisions live on camera. I've not read it. It's 20 pages long. You're seeing my reaction as you hear it as well. The bill provisions are absolutely wonderful. That's great news. There's a lot of ice cream, as I would say, in the bill, because there's stuff in here that we were not told during the press conference. Item after item after item after item keeps on manifesting itself. We did not hear in the press conference. In fact, there's so many items that even though, I have a good memory skill, I'm forgetting what I even read, 20 minutes earlier. There's a lot of stuff in here. Things like $1,200 for students in college, things like SNAP benefits in a way we never heard about, things like grants that we never heard about. So I'm going over this live on camera. Of course, I'll have to digest it and itemize it and give you it slowly in detail in videos throughout the day. But this is the first ever you're seeing this, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the alert. This is why you hit the alert. And if you're just joining this broadcast late in the video, I won't be able to recap all the details. I don't know, because it's just 30 pages long, but I'll try my best. All right, we're at the point, we're at the three-quarter part, we're at the 75% mark of the draft. We're now to businesses. So he wants to give a lot of grants. $15 billion, provide grants to more than 1 million hardest hit small businesses. This $15 billion in equitably distributed grants will help businesses get back on their feet, and then leverage $35 billion in government funds with $175 billion for small business lending investment. With a $35 billion investment in state, local, tribal, and nonprofit small businesses, Congress can generate up to $175 billion in low-interest loans and venture capital to help entrepreneurs innovate, create, and maintain jobs, wealth, and provide essential needs. So this is great news. So this is what we heard last night. So there's $15 billion in business grants. What are they called? We don't know. And there's $175 billion for businesses who want to expand or start. So if you want to start a business, then, I misspoke. If you want to start a business, he's doing $175 billion in loans for you to start businesses. This is insanely great news. Next, Hazard pay. Throughout the pandemic, first responders, health workers, and countless essential workers have risked their lives. President-elect is calling on Congress to provide $350 billion to emergency funds for state and local to ensure they're in position to pay frontline workers and jobs paid while providing the vaccination. Is also calling on Congress to allocate $3 billion to fund the EDA. Grants from EDA would provide resources for higher education, nonprofits, and institutions that support bottoms-up economic development and good-paying jobs. The funding doubles the amount provided by the CARES Act, which support community and nationwide of broadband. That's a little confusing. So he's basically saying he's doing hazard pay by giving the money to the states and counties, and then they're going to do the hazard pay. A little confusing. And then he's saying he's going to do some grants, $3 billion of it. Money for, there's also $20 billion for grants for public transit. Then additional money for the Indian country. Then modernize technology, $9 billion to help the U.S. launch a major new IT and cybersecurity program. Surge cybersecurity information technology, build secure services to transform transformational projects, and improve security incidental responses. Wow. So there you go at the 36-minute mark. What a day it is. I'm just so overwhelmed. That's a lot there. That's a lot there. Thank you for joining me on this Rush broadcast. It's a lot of ice cream. It's basically a lot of money for a lot of different things in a lot of different places that we never heard. To recap, joining me at the 36-minute mark, we now know that the third stimulus package is actually good news, heading to great news. Why? Because the provisions are, how do I say it? The press conference yesterday was not exhaustive. That's the first thing. Second thing is the press conference was not intended to say everything he's going to do. I went through this and there was like 30 things that are brand new. The next thing that's also great news is he's not pigeonholing himself into a corner on anything. So anyone who tells you that FPUC is not retro, it doesn't say that it is retro, and it doesn't say that it isn't retro. It says that he wants Congress to work on a number. He thinks $400 is a good number for FPUC, and he doesn't know what time frame it is, and he wants them to figure out where to go with it. He also wants to ensure that you understand that you're going to get hazard pay, you're going to get business grants, you're going to get unemployment at UI extended, but he doesn't want to pigeonhole anything. Moreover, what I've been reporting on this channel is that the SSI and SSDI would be a standalone bill. It's likely now, it's now a standalone bill. I also told you that the EIDL grant, the remainder $10,000 EIDL grant was going to be paid, that $10,000. That nothing in here says otherwise, no. So this is all incredible, great news. Let me give you a broad recap if I can. Yesterday, when Joe Biden had a press conference, let me tell you where we are. This is a midday recording live from Los Angeles. What you're joining me at the 30-minute mark is a live recording in which I'm going over the first ever view of the third stimulus check bill draft. The bill draft has a lot more in it than Joe Biden said during the press conference. That's the first thing. The second one is that the items you may have heard yesterday, you're like, oh, he didn't say that. The fact that he didn't say that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means that he didn't want to talk about it, didn't have time to talk about it, or that the bill draft says, I'm not going to pigeonhole myself. I'm still keeping it open. The third item is that nearly everything that you had thought about is still happening in some format. Nothing is off the table. Nothing is gone. So we're still in play on everything. This is really great news. I'm very excited for you. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that alert at the top of this button, like this video, and consider joining. And I'll see you later today, hopefully maybe on holiday, if not later, on afternoons LALATE. This is a rushed midday recording, and thank you for joining me on LALATE.